First, the highlights. Lagos State Water Corporation urges residents to report pipeline burst for quick action. Inspector of Police vows decisive response to attacks on personnel. On the foreign scene, Ghanaian Parliament passes a provisional budget amid talks of government shutdown. In sport, Nigeria's forward Kelechi Iheanacho set to leave Sevilla. Now the details. I am Taiwo Baruwa. The Lagos State Water Corporation LSWC has urged residents to report any leaks or burst immediately to the corporation through its helplines 0704 597 3012 or 0704 597 3013 or 0703 326 1974 for prompt response. Managing Director of LSWC Mukhtar Tijani made the call while announcing a significant increase in water production from its Iju and Adinyo waterworks. Tijani, who underscored the corporation's commitment to providing improved and reliable water supply to residents across Lagos State, noted that the increase in water supply and stolen fittings may be partly responsible for the high-pressure burst reported along the Maryland-Ikorodu axis. It said the stolen fittings exposed the pipeline flow line and allowed water to escape to the surface, thus impacting the integrity of the water pipelines in the area. The Lagos State Building Control Agency, LAPCA, says it followed all due process regarding the removal of an illegal attachment to a building off Admiralty Way, Lekki Phase 1, Itiosa, Lagos. LAPCA General Manager Agbola Onki, who gave the clarification, said the agency instructed the occupant to lawfully remove the attachment, but they decided to remove them without first obtaining the demolition permit from the agency, stating that such act disregarded the Lagos State Building Codes and Regulations. Oki described the video circulating online regarding the removal of the attachment as misleading. He stated that the video in question shows an individual attempting to harass and obstruct LAPCA officials and security personnel who were present to maintain law and order during the exercise. Oki said, in line with the Lagos State government's commitment to urban regeneration, sustainable development, and the elimination of environmental and security nuisance, LAPCA instructed the owners of the illegal attachment to remove them after multiple notices ranging from contravention, seal-off, and quit notices had been duly served on the occupant. The LAPCA boss implored the public to disregard the misleading video and support the government's effort toward a cleaner, safer, and more organized Lagos. The General Manager of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority, LASMA, Olalekan Bakari, has emphasized the paramount importance of strict adherence to traffic regulations, particularly compliance with speed limit as prescribed by the Lagos State government. Bakari stated this while extending his sympathies to passengers who were injured in critical road traffic incident involving a commercial long bus, popularly referred to as Molue, earlier today at Madia Iwadabuliegba, causing severe injuries and significant disruption to traffic. LASMA Director of Public Affairs and Enlightenment Department, Adebayo Taufik, in a statement said the accident was triggered when a vehicle on excessive speed lost control as the driver attempted to avoid colliding with another commercial bus and pedestrians awaiting transport at the roadside. He said LASMA officers promptly arrived at the scene, executing a well-coordinated and efficient rescue operation, and the victims were immediately handed over to LASAMBA's medical personnel and transported to the General Hospital at Ilekpo for urgent medical attention. Oyo State government says the distribution of letters of appointment to 5,600 newly recruited basic teachers in the state will begin on Monday, January 6. chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board, Lorena Adeniro, who stated this during a meeting with education secretaries in Ibadan, said the exercise will take place at the Universal Basic Education Office in all local government areas across the state. Adeniro charged the new teachers to be innovative and embrace modern techniques and approaches in imparting knowledge, noting that their appointment takes effect from January 1. According to him, about 12 local governments are overloaded with teachers, while some local governments are understaffed. Hence, a redistribution will be done to ensure equity and justice. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has expressed strong opposition to the federal government's proposed removal of the education tax, describing the plan as a threat to the survival of the Nigerian universities. ASU's national president, Victor Oshodeke, said the union would meet with the two ministers of education, Tunji Alausa and Suwaiba Hamad, this year to address this and other pressing challenges in the education sector. He also said the union had written to the Senate President, the presidency and other key stakeholders, warning that the implementation of the tax reform bill, which includes the proposed changes to the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, would jeopardize tertiary education. It will interest you to know that the proposed Nigeria Tax Bill 2024, currently before the National Assembly, seeks to reduce TET Fund's share of the education tax referred to as the development levy. Under Section 59 of the bill, only 50% of the development levy would go to TET Fund, and by 2030, the agency would receive 0% of the levy, significantly reducing its capacity to fund infrastructural development, postgraduate training, and research in public tertiary institutions. Now to the rest of the stories. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has issued a stern warning against assault on police officers, declaring that any attack on personnel of the police will be met with a decisive and appropriate response. Speaking during his visit to the Enugu State Police Command, Egbetokun emphasized that such actions are not only criminal but also an affront to the entire institution, vowing zero tolerance for such incidents in 2025. He said this zero tolerance stance is part of the police force's effort to protect its personnel and maintain law and order, adding that the police is working with the federal government to improve the welfare of its personnel. Some residents of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, will experience a long period of power outages starting from Monday. The Abuja Electricity Distribution Company announced this, saying the power outage will occur due to the relocation of the airport feeder and Kukwaba Apple transmission line towers along the outer southern expressway. A statement on its official X handle says the relocation operation will occur between January 6 and 31. The new development comes barely a week after the Transmission Company of Nigeria disrupted power supply to conduct planned maintenance exercises at two transmission substations at the Gwagwalada transmission substation. In foreign news, Ghana's parliament has passed a provisional budget that allows the government to spend 68.1 billion Ghanaian cedis through March, narrowly averting an unprecedented government shutdown. Parliamentary Speaker Alban Bagbin said the parliament had approved the provisional budget in a sitting that stretched deep into Thursday night. This is as John Mahama is set to take office as the West African country's president next week after winning a December 7 election, staging a political comeback after serving as Ghana's president from 2012 to 2016. A provisional budget is typically passed in November during election years to cover the gap until the president-elect takes office. But the presentation of the provisional budget had dragged this time after an impasse over whether the outgoing New Patriotic Party or the incoming National Democratic Congress Party has a majority of seats in the House. In sport now, Sevilla manager Garcia Pimienta has announced that Nigeria's Kelechi Iheanacho could leave the former UEFA Europa League champions before the end of the winter transfer window. Iheanacho has struggled for regular playing time since arriving the La Liga club on a free transfer last summer. The 28-year-old is still waiting to open his goal account in the league after 9 appearances. Pimienta confirmed a number of clubs have shown interest in the forward. And that's it on the news at 9. But just before we go, remember to always wear your seatbelt when driving. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration reconfigured 6 junction and roundabout, Allen, Ikotu, Maryland, Lekki and Aja, under Traffic Management Intervention Plan? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. The Lagos State Water Corporation LSWC has urged residents to report any leaks or burst immediately to the corporation through its helplines 0704 597 3012 or 0704 597 3013 or 0703 326 1974 for prompt response. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has issued a stern warning against assault on police officers, declaring that any attack on personnel of the police will be met with a decisive and appropriate response. We also told you that Ghana's parliament has passed a provisional budget that allows the government to spend 68.1 billion Ghanaian cedis through March, narrowly averting an unprecedented government shutdown. Finally, in sports, Sevilla manager Garcia Pimienta has announced that Nigeria's Kelechi Iheanacho could leave the former UEFA Europa League champions before the end of the winter transfer window. For contacts with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adewale Oluwokoroku. I am Taiwo Baruwa. Thank you for listening. Good evening.